Have you ever wondered what the world was like 100 years ago? Life in 1925 feels so far away. But at the same time, it really wasn't that long ago. Get ready. What you're about to hear might sound made up. Today, you'll find out what daily life was like a century ago. And you'll realize that despite all the progress, the world has changed more than you think. Number 6 will leave you speechless. 1. Life expectancy. Dying at 50 was normal. In 1925, the global average life expectancy was just 48 years. That's right. In most countries, reaching 60 was considered a huge accomplishment. Today, in many places, life expectancy is over 80. In other words, in 100 years, we've gained over 3 extra decades of life. Why? Vaccines, sanitation, antibiotics, better nutrition, and of course the end of terrifying medical practices, like giving liquid mercury to children with fevers. 2. Bizarre medicines were common medications with cocaine, heroin, morphine. All of that was sold freely in pharmacies. In fact, Coca-Cola was still known for containing coca leaf extract. In many countries, opium was used as a calming medicine for children. And cigarettes? Doctors used to prescribe them to clean the lungs. It all sounds insane now, but back then, these were seen as scientific breakthroughs. Many of these substances were only banned decades later. 3. Indoor bathrooms were rare. In 1925, having a bathroom inside your house was a luxury. Most families used wooden outhouses in the backyard, known as dry toilets. In urban areas, it was common to share bathrooms with neighbors in communal structures. Running water and flushing toilets were still new in many countries, and daily showers were basically a rich person's habit. Fun fact, toilet paper only started being sold in rolls as we know it around 1920. 4. Women couldn't vote in most places. In 1925, most women around the world still couldn't vote. In Brazil, women only gained that right in 1932. In France, not until 1944. In Switzerland, only in 1971. Just a few countries like New Zealand and Finland had already granted women the right to vote at the time. This shows how the fight for equality was still just beginning 100 years ago. Type 5. Transportation was horse-drawn. In cities, cars existed, but they were expensive and noisy. Most people walked, took streetcars, or rode in horse-drawn wagons. In rural areas, horses were still the main form of personal transportation. Gasoline was a luxury item. And the roads? Mostly just dirt paths. Fun fact, in New York City in 1925, there were still more horses than cars on the streets. 6. Photos were rare, and scared some people today, you can snap a selfie and post it in seconds. But 100 years ago, having a photo of yourself was a big deal. Many people believed photography stole part of your soul. And yes, there were tribes and cultures that banned photos for that exact reason. Also, taking a single photo required standing still for several seconds, which is why no one smiled in old pictures. Home cameras only started becoming popular in the late 1920s, and even then, they were expensive. 7. Kids worked like adults. In many countries, there was no minimum age to work. Kids as young as 8, 9, or 10 were employed in factories, mines, farms, and construction. In Brazil, child labor only started being regulated in the 1940s. And even in developed countries, it took a long struggle to make childhood more than a time of exploitation. Photos from that era show kids covered in coal, carrying tools, and with zero protection. 8. Sports were different. Soccer was still amateur in most countries. Tennis was a sport for the elite, played in heavy clothing. And boxing? It had few rules, and many in-ring deaths. Fun fact, at the 1924 Paris Olympics, events included water polo with floaties, Greco-Roman wrestling with no weight classes, and diving in dirty hotel pools. Oh, and of course, women could compete, but only in female sports like gymnastics and swimming. 9. Radio was the king of information, no phones, no internet, no TV or streaming. In 1925, the radio was the main, and often the only source of information and entertainment. Families would gather in the living room just to listen to news, narrated soap operas, theater performances, and even live music. Comedy shows and radio dramas made millions of people laugh or cry at the same time. Fun fact, some folks actually believed the voices came from spirits trapped inside the radio. 10. The world was much smaller and more dangerous. Traveling from one country to another was for millionaires or sailors. Flying? Risky, and only for the rich and brave. There was no GPS, no digital passports, no internet to book hotels. Everything was done through letters, telegrams, and a lot of patience. And the world was full of local wars, dictatorships, and colonized countries in conflict. Oh, and World War II was still on the horizon. Just 100 years ago, the world was completely different. In 1 century, we've progressed more than in thousands of years before. And that proves history isn't as far away as it seems. Now tell me, which of these facts surprised you the most? Comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because in our next episodes, we're going to keep exploring the past, the present, and the unbelievable things that are part of our reality. See you next time. And never forget, today's future is tomorrow's curiosity.